Next, I am actually really excited that we are joined tonight by Jessica Looman, the U.S. Department of Labor and Wage and Hour Division Administrator. I get to say, as a point of personal privilege, that Jessica is a fellow Minnesotan and a fellow former commissioner. She served as commissioner of the Department of Labor under Governor Mark Dayton in Minnesota. She has worked at the U.S. Department of Labor since January 20th, 2021, first as Principal Deputy Administrator and now as Administrator of the Wage and Hour Division. Jessica, it's wonderful to have you join us tonight, and we'd love to open the floor to you before we get to the rest of our panelists.
Thank you so much, Mary Catherine, and thanks to everybody for joining us tonight. I'm really grateful that you chose to spend your hour with us. We know you're all incredibly, incredibly busy with everything that you do, and so thank you before we get anywhere further. And then I also want to echo and thank Bridget for her very brief, but I hope very substantive overview of this really, really important issue. And then, of course, want to thank the Albert Shanker Institute and the American Federation of Teachers for your partnership and for the invitation to join you all here today. So a little bit more about the Wage and Hour Division, just for context, right? We at the Wage and Hour Division at the U.S. Department of Labor, we protect minimum wages and overtime pay. We protect FMLA, other federal labor standards, including the child labor standards that we're here to talk about tonight. Every day, we get to wake up and help 165 million workers at 11 million workplaces across our country. And we are focused, as Bridget said, on protecting the most low-wage and vulnerable workers. And there are no more vulnerable workers than children who are in our workforce. We, like all of you, believe that everyone involved in a young worker's life can really play a role in keeping them out of harm's way. And so really, again, want to thank you for staying informed on federal child labor rules, about raising awareness. All of us can prevent and combat child labor exploitation. As Bridget also said, we recognize and understand that there are a lot of important first good jobs that young people have. Everybody on this call had their first job. And we know that those positive work experiences can allow kids to develop skills and earn money and really understand what it's like to be part of the labor force. And that's why we have the Youth Rules program that Bridget talked about, which is the kinds of good jobs that can help workers get on a path to good careers. And we at the Department of Labor very much are focused on creating those meaningful first job experiences. But the Wage and Hour Division, we really are about protecting those vulnerable workers, including kids. And frankly, many of us thought that illegal child labor was a 100-year-old problem. It is not. It is a today problem. As Bridget said, there's really three types of restrictions that we're focused on when we're coming to employing children: restrictions on the minimum age for employment, restrictions on work hours, and prohibitions against children being employed to do dangerous work. But unfortunately, we are seeing children who are in workplaces where they never should be in the first place. And we really have to do better than this. The Biden-Harris administration is focused on doing three things to address child labor exploitation. We've launched a national strategic enforcement initiative. For example, in Tennessee, we investigated an employer where children were building parts for power equipment. And we identified $1.5 million in disgorgement of 30 days profits for that employer who was profiting off of employing illegal child labor. And they also had to pay nearly a $300,000 penalty for violating federal child labor laws. So we have to focus on enforcement. But secondly, we are also taking a whole of government approach in the Biden-Harris administration. And we are leading at the Department of Labor an interagency task force to combat child labor exploitation. And this includes working with the U.S. Department of Education to raise awareness about those good, safe first jobs, but also about red flags of child labor exploitation. And we are, of course, focusing on education and outreach, raising awareness about this incredibly important issue. And so we are, again, so grateful that you all are here, happy to be part of this panel conversation. And I just I cannot stress this enough. What we are focusing on is the place where, unfortunately, kids are dying, where kids are being employed in places where they're going to get hurt and where it really does jeopardize their education and well-being. That is what we are focused on at the Department of Labor. And I know that you all are very focused on making sure that we are protecting those vulnerable kids. So thank you for everything you do. First of all, for joining us tonight. Also, everything you do as educators, as caregivers, as community members, as workers yourself, and as people who care about kids. And again, thank you for joining us tonight. And I'm going to hand it back over to Mary Catherine, and then looking forward to the panel conversation tonight. So thanks.